Hi, my name is Kate Brown, and this is my presentation on the impact of microplastics on the environment and public health. So to begin, what are microplastics? Microplastics are plastic particles ranging in size from 5 millimeters, which is about the size of a pencil eraser, to 1 nanometer. And to put this into perspective, 1 nanometer is smaller than a strand of human hair, which would require a microscope to see. So primary microplastics are intentionally made in a small size for consumer products, such as a fishing net, while secondary microplastics are plastic particles that have broken down from larger plastic materials, such as from a plastic shopping bag. Nanoplastics come from microplastics that have broken down even further over time, and nanoplastics are smaller than 1 micrometer and cannot be seen by the human eye. Additionally, 1 microplastic particle can break down into billions of nanoplastic particles. So, to dive into the impact of microplastics on the environment, there is an estimated 358 trillion microplastic particles floating on the surface of the world's oceans. Microplastics are easily ingested by marine animals, and this can pose serious health threats to them. Microplastics may have an effect on marine biodiversity as well as carbon storage in our oceans because of their effect on plankton and microbial organisms. This not only has the potential to disrupt the base of the food chain, but to also disrupt the critical carbon storage capabilities of the ocean. Microplastics are also found in much of our soil, which means that they can enter our groundwater. So for the impact that microplastics have on public health, research results have shown that microplastics can impact the digestive, respiratory, endocrine, reproductive, and immune systems in our bodies. And the 3 main ways that microplastics can end up in our bodies are through inhalation, ingestion, and skin contact. So there is research showing that plastic particles are being excreted in human stool, and this indicates that they are present in our GI tract. While it is still unknown whether these microplastics are able to permeate across the gut epithelia, this would pose serious health issues if true. And the alveolar surface area in our lungs is thin enough that nanoplastics can pass through it and enter our capillary system, which means that they can reach our entire bodies. And studies have been done using in vitro and in vivo methods to show that microplastics and nanoplastics can cause apoptosis, inflammation, and immune responses within our bodies. And most concerning to me is a study from the Rhine Institute of Neuroscience that has shown that microplastics are able to pass the blood-brain barrier in mice. Our blood-brain barrier is very hard to permeate because it prevents viruses and bacteria from entering our brains. So what can we do? The number one thing that we can do is stop the flow of plastic pollution. Additionally, increase pressure on governments and industries to reduce microplastic production. And finally, increase funding for research on the lasting impact of microplastics on both the environment and human health. How can you protect yourself? Avoid microwaving plastic containers. Use glass or ceramic instead. Be sure to vacuum and dust often to get rid of microplastics that may be inhaled. And avoid plastic water bottles, using glass or steel instead. To reduce microplastic shedding from your clothes, wash them less frequently and air dry them if possible. And finally, avoid plastic cutting boards, use wooden or non-plastic instead. Thank you so much for listening, and here are my sources.